So the second swing in our Colorado journey for the 2015 NASA RallyCross Challenge season takes us up to Canyon City, Colorado, and the tricky circuit here in Negus, as it's Josh Mertz bringing you the call for the Automotive Sports Network today. Last week, we saw the points leader miss the final, and Tanner Smith tightened up the chase for the championship by 10 points. But Mertz won here last season, so who knows what will happen. Today's format, 10 cars have arrived to the Negus RallyCross circuit. We're going to have 2 heats, 5 cars apiece, 4 laps for each of them. The top 2 in each heat will advance automatically to the final. The others will move to the LCQ. You have to take the Joker, which is the jump here at Negus, once per race in the heats. The LCQ is 3 laps. The top 2 from that race will advance. The rest are awarded points. I think it's going to be 7th through 10th will be points. You have to take the Joker once, and the final will be 6 drivers for 8 laps, and you have to take the Joker twice. So here we are, getting ready to go here in Negus, and that is a big storyline. It is no longer Red Bull Subaru MRT. It is now Subaru MRT. But anyway, getting ready and gridded for heat number 1. We'll cover that story further later. On pole will be Mertz in car number 1. Then it's Casey Lester in car number 50, Tanner Smith, Arnold Columbia, and on the back row, Dylan Livengood. So the 3 championship protagonists are going to be in this heat here in Negus today. So everyone's getting ready and lined up. Getting ready to go here for 4 laps here in Negus. It's lights out, and away we go, and off the line, it's going to be Mertz and Tanner Smith, the 2 championship protagonists, battling. Who will go to the jump? Mertz and Lester will go. Columbia, Livengood, and Smith will not. So they will take, as over is Casey Lester in car number 50. So the championship leader now pulling away in car number 1, as Lester is going to be battling Smith. But Lester can be pretty much written off because he flipped on his Joker. So the 2 teammates, as Livengood onto the banking in car number 51. Lester now battling with Tanner Smith. And Lester's holding these 2 up already. As pulling away out to a lead is the points leader, Mertz, in car number 1. Ditching the familiar Red Bull colors in favor of quite a controversial sponsor that we'd rather not admit. He leads at the end of lap 1, Tanner Smith in 2nd, Livengood has gotten by Lester for 3rd, and Columbia is in 5th with Lester 4th. Mertz will take to the regular course as he jumped on his first lap, so let's see if Livengood will jump. Yes, he will. He will get past his teammate, but let's see if he can battle Mertz from the helicopter. Whereas car number 1, there he is. No contest between the 2 champions as Livengood slots into 2nd. Columbia jumps as well. And I think Tanner Smith is going to be waiting for the final lap to jump in car number 13. Because this is going to hurt him, though, as Columbia is going to hold him up in car number 39. So it looks like Lester hanging out back. As we're coming to 2 to go for the German, trying to get a bonus point as he missed the final last week in the Proving Grounds. It was determined that everyone was screwing up over the jump because the wind was the wrong direction. And it changed in practice, and everyone was not used to it. So it's Mertz and Livengood. Let's see if Tanner will go to the jump. Yes, he will. So he is jumping on the penultimate lap. Let's see where he is. Over the jump. Where is his teammate? He got by his teammate, but he's nowhere close to Mertz, as it looks like he got held up by Lester when Lester was in front of him. And Livengood is on the outside looking in now. So there is your transfer currently. The 2 that were in your picture. As Mertz is going to coast it home. He's still got a lap left. As Tanner Smith is going to try and get this bonus point, but I think he's too far away as the white flag flies here in Negus. As Livengood on the outside looking in. Lester in 4th. And it looks like Arnold Columbia has parked it in car number 39. So the first to succumb to the LCQ will be car number 39. And over the jump, we saw Mertz have a lot of controversy. I think it was last season or in 2013C, because he was not here 2014A. But he had those 2 races where he made contact with several drivers. It was either one of those races, and because of that controversial line he takes through the regular course. Nobody else does, I don't believe. As Tanner Smith on the ragged edge trying to catch Mertz, but I don't think he'll have enough time. As through the final chicane, he's telling his teammates over the radio, they can't make fun of me now, as Mertz will win heat number 1 and transfer through along with Tanner Smith. Living good on the outside looking in. He goes to the LCQ in car number 51. And Casey Lester in car number 50 will round the final chicane. And he will finish 4th as Arnold Columbia will finish in the 5th spot. Now getting ready for heat number 2, as the bigger storyline is Cody Erdman has returned to the NASA Rallycross Challenge. But it's quite interesting because he is now driving car number 4. As I don't know why Living Good is on track. He possibly got confused, thinking this was the LCQ. So there's Dylan Smith in the Zest Subaru for Subaru MRT Jr. That's Cody Erdman in car number 4, as he has returned to MRT after joining back to the NASA Rallycross ranks. So this team is a constructor for Negus and beyond. Then it's Chris Wetz, Brandon Nicholson, and Tristan Hagenstein. We're getting ready to go for heat number 2. Revving them up, getting ready to go. It's lights out, and away we go. And off the line, the junior Subaru teammates are giving a fight to Wetz as Hagenstein trying to get to the regular course. Nicholson lets him through. Over the jump for the first time, Erdman leads Dylan Smith. Will they land cleanly? Yes. It's Wetz battling with Hagenstein. Hagenstein jumps, and he's taking the fight to Chris Wetz in car number 71. This is a man who needs to get his season back on track, as last week he had major issues making contact with his teammate. His teammate went on to win. Erdman leads. This is the teammate that won last week, Dylan Smith, surprising everyone after barrel rolling on the first lap and snuck the win away from Tanner Smith. Erdman wide in the chicane. That's going to allow the teammates to battle as they take the end of the first lap at the line. It's going to be Dylan Smith leading by a hair. Wetz 3rd, Hagenstein 4th, and Nicholson in 5th. As Bellamy is not here, Smith takes the lead. Bellamy's not here, so this will give Nicholson the privateer points lead, I do believe, as the two junior Subarus ahead of the Revolution Racing Mitsubishi as everyone takes to the regular course. As Hagenstein's around in car number 2 slightly, as Dylan Smith was trying to make a run for the Privateer Cup, but it was determined that even if he won all the races, he would not be able to win that, as Erdman came back, so now this team is a constructor. He leads. Those two took the jump. These three have not, I don't believe, and their gap is shrinking away because they have been battling for these 2 laps. Because at the end of lap number 2, it's going to be Dylan Smith leading, but as cross flags are shown, you see Wetz, how close he is to these two. When they jump, I think they're going to get by both of them. Wetz and Hagenstein. So let's see if Wetz will take to the jump. No, he won't. Will Hagenstein take to the jump? No, he won't. Will Nicholson jump? We will see, but I don't think even Nicholson will get by Wetz as he is too far back. It looks like Erdman has hit the wall in car number 4, so this might ruin his transfer spot hopes, as look how close Wetz is compared to Erdman. Both championship runner-ups for the past 2 seasons. And Hagenstein was 3rd on the championship rostrum in 2014A. Dylan Smith locks him up, the 3-time race winner now. Getting very, maybe cracking under the pressure of his teammate, the championship runner-up, and I believe 4th all-time on the wins list, Erdman in car number 4, very close to hitting the back bumper as these two take the white flag. Sorry for that lap count glitch. We're going to see, well, they have to jump to comply to the regulations, so we're going to see from the helicopter where will Wetz come out in relation to these two. He jumps past as Erdman had issues over into the regular course, so this is going to put Wetz in the lead. Let's see if Hagenstein will beat his teammate. in the final, in this hairpin down here, the merge, Smith held it as Wetz locked him up. So Dylan Smith holds the lead. Wetz is now in second, and Hagenstein's on the outside looking in. As his teammate had issues in the regular course, something might be broken on that Subaru. Final corner. Down the straightaway to complete heat number 2. It's going to be Dylan Smith and Chris Wetz transferring. On the outside looking in is Hagenstein. 4th place is Erdman. In 5th place will be Brandon Nicholson in car number 37. As he ran it wide here, and he gets back on the racing surface and comes down to complete heat number 2. As if the heats have been frantic, the LCQ is going to be much better, and I'm quite excited to see what will happen here. As cars are on track here momentarily. As here is Tristan Hagenstein in car number 2. Then it's Lester, Columbia, Nicholson, Erdman, and Livengood. I think the order is, or the cars for the LCQ are. So here's the LCQ grid. On pole will be Casey Lester in car number 50. Then it's going to be Tristan Hagenstein, Arnold Columbia, and Dylan Livengood. And the second row of the grid will be Cody Erdman and Brandon Nicholson. So this race is 3 laps. The top 2 still advance. And 3 laps at Negus goes relatively quickly, and you need to get your moves done. Teammates slot behind each other, for both cases actually, as technically there's 2 Revolution cars, 2 MRT cars, the Lester Racing car, and the Great Lakes Motorsports car. So 2 Subarus, 2 Mitsubishis, a Volkswagen, and a Ford, as everyone getting lined up for the 3-lap dash that is the LCQ. Always proves to be exciting here at Negus, getting ready to go. Hagenstein jumps, and it's lights out, and away we go. And off the line, he has to give the time up, so it's going to be Livengood out to a hole shot, followed by Casey Lester. To the jump goes Erdman solitarily, everyone else to the regular course. Livengood will lead the brigade on the regular course, but this is going to allow Erdman to break out to a lead and see if he can hold it. As second place Livengood, Hagenstein, Lester, Columbia, Nicholson, 2nd through 6th. So we're going to focus on this as 5 cars are under a blanket. Erdman trying to use the clear track as these cars are going to lose all their gap because Erdman is out and away. So now on the outside looking in is Hagenstein. But it's going to determine where will they come out when they jump. Because Erdman out to a lead, 2 laps to go in the LCQ already. As Livengood pulling away from Hagenstein. Lester, Columbia, Nicholson. As the battle between the privateers is Lester and Nicholson, as there's 8 manufacturer cars in today's race. There's Revolution Racing, MRT Junior, and then a sole Revolution Junior car and the Great Lakes Motorsports car. Livengood had jumped, and Erdman has spun it in car number 4. So this will put Livengood through to the lead. Nicholson has jumped as well, and Erdman trying to get going again in car number 4. So the transfer spots are currently Livengood and Nicholson. Will try and figure out what happened to Erdman, as now Hagenstein's on the outside looking in. Lester nearly hits Hagenstein in car number 2. So now a lead change, and it's going to be the 4-time champion leading in the LCQ as he takes the white flag in car number 51. 3rd place in points, but I believe he's 8 down on Mertz. Tanner Smith is 4 down. So Livengood needs to make something happen as Nicholson in 2nd, pressured for the transfer spot by Hagenstein as he takes the spot. And Lester hits Nicholson, so that's a trip to the penalty box for car number 50. Hagenstein is jumping. Let's see what will happen with the Dutchman. Will he come out? Not even close to Livengood, but he's still in a transfer spot. Lester has to go to the penalty box. This will put Columbia up to 7th place, as it looks like he lets Columbia by. Erdman and Nicholson. As through the final chicane to go onto the front straightaway, Livengood will win the LCQ. 5th place in the final 6th spot will go to Hagenstein, on the grid that is. 7th place will go to Columbia, his best finish in NASA Rallycross. 8th will go to Erdman, so the top 8 is constructor cars. And Nicholson will beat out Lester for the privateers. Nicholson wins, followed by Lester in car number 50. So that was quite the battle between the privateers. They always seem to come together at some point or another during the race weekend. And here's what we've been waiting for. The final. And this will be interesting as Revolution Racing, Revolution Junior, so that's 3 Revolution cars. This is the same. This is basically the same grid as last season here, as we had Wetz, Livingood, Smith, Mertz, Hagenstein. The only ones not here is Erdman. Row 1, Mertz, Smith, Tanner, then Dylan, Chris Wetz. 2nd row, Livingood and Hagenstein. The only you swap Dylan Smith or Cody Erdman for Dylan Smith, and it's the same grid as last season. Mertz won last season, but who knows what will happen here in Canyon City? Revving them up, getting ready to go for round number 6 of the NASA Rallycross Challenge in 2015A. It's lights out and away we go. Off the line, Mertz does not go, but this might be intentional. It's Wetz, Smith, and Tanner Smith. As to the regular course goes, Dylan Smith, Wetz, and Mertz over the jump. Tanner Smith living in Hagenstein as Dylan Smith's around in car number 3. So he gets turned or spun himself. We will figure out what happened there. On the regular course leads Tanner Smith, Livingood, and Hagenstein. Mertz battling with Wetz, Dylan Smith in 6th. As I think wheel hop from car number 3 caused him to spin, as it did not look like contact from car number 1. As through the chicane for the first time, it's going to be Tanner Smith, Dylan Livingood, Tristan Hagenstein, Josh Mertz, Chris Wetz, and Dylan Smith. As lap number 2 begins, I think as contact between Hagenstein and Livingood. That will require a review, and I think that is automatically a trip to the penalty box as Wetz has to stop. That's a trip to the penalty box for car number 2, and I don't think he's answering as Mertz will jump in car number 1. So let's see what will happen with the German. Over the radio, Hagenstein saying protesting, so he is not taking it to the penalty box in car number 2. As Tanner Smith now trying to pull away from Mertz, and I think this is what the battle is going to be. As it's been this way all season, Mertz had been pulling away as he locks it up in car number 1. But Tanner Smith, winless in a Revolution Racing Mitsubishi. Mertz has 2 of them this season. As we begin lap number 3, it's Livingood and Wetz battling for 3rd. Dylan Smith in 6th. Hagenstein still has yet to take to the penalty box. Like I mentioned, he is protesting, so I don't think there will be a trip to the penalty box for car number 2. As let's see who will jump here on lap number 3. Wetz will jump. Let's see if he's going to get by these 2, but I don't think he'll catch Mertz or Tanner Smith. Tanner Smith, no, not even close. To the Norwegian and the German is the American. As the running order for the top 2 hasn't changed. I think Dylan Smith jumped as well because he got by these 2, but just barely in car number 3. And Mertz, it looks like Mertz hit the tire barrier in car number 1. Luckily, he did not get stuck. As lap number 4 begins, this might put a damper on his chances to try and take this race win. As Tanner and Mertz both have a jump left, I think Tanner's jumping now. What will Mertz do? He looked to go to the regular course, but he's going to follow Tanner Smith, and I don't think this is a good idea for the German. Because here especially, you'd always want to alternate strategies, and the top 2 do not change. Wetz is 3rd. Dylan Smith has jumped. Let's see if he will get by Wetz for 3rd. It's going to be close. Wetz holds 3rd. Dylan Smith 4th. Livingood 5th. Hagenstein now 6th. As Tanner Smith still pulling away in car number 13. Crossed flags are being shown for the Norwegian at the flag stand as lap number 5 begins. Mertz 2nd. And I think now Mertz will realize he's done both of his jumps. He's got 4 laps to claw that gap away, and that is a huge gap for someone to claw back. Wetz is in 3rd. He might have a jump left. I think he does. No, he doesn't. He jumped on the first lap, I believe. No, he didn't. Sorry about that. My brain got confused. As Dylan Smith takes to the inside of Wetz. Regardless, he might have a jump left. If he does, I don't think he'll catch him. Contact between the two. And it looks like Dylan Smith has parked it. Something is broken on car number 3. So we have 5 cars left as the teammates battle for 3rd. And the real spoiler here is Hagenstein, because I think he has a jump left. As Tanner Smith will take 3 laps to go in car number 13. Can he pull away and hold his gap and defeat the 3-time defending champion? As the teammates battling, Wetz in the tire barriers, pushed in there by his teammate, as these two, always a great fight and always a show between these two. It doesn't matter what position they're battling for, it is always entertaining. Hagenstein by himself in 5th. I think Wetz is having issues with his gas and brake pedal. I think they're cutting out as he takes to the jump. He did have a jump left in car number 71. I don't think he'll get it. No, he's not nowhere near these two, as they've had clear track for the entire race. And I don't think anyone can catch them. As Mertz has been catching Tanner in the regular course through the jump. He takes the jump ramp, Tanner does not, and Wetz has rolled it in car number 71. So we have 4 cars left now, as 2 to go. And it's always here in Negus where we have an attrition-filled race. So let's see here. We're going to focus here on Mertz and Tanner Smith. There's Tanner. Here is Mertz, and let's see how close Mertz gets. There's from the helicopter. Look at how he jumps. The gap has been halved by Mertz in car number 1. He is a man on a mission, trying to win his 3rd race this season, and his 15th in his career. As Hagenstein, I believe, has a jump left, so that will be the battle for 3rd, but he's got a pending penalty in car number 2 that I don't think he is going to serve. Realistically, he could serve it and he would still finish 4th. The battle is between these two. Let's see what will happen here as the white flag flies in Negus for Tanner Smith. Mertz is 2nd, Livingood 3rd. Those two have not changed, so we will focus on the battle for the lead and the race win. As the gap is about 3 or 4 car lengths between the Norwegian and the German for Revolution Racing and Subaru MRT. Through the regular course for the final time. Mertz takes the jump. He's relatively close. He's a car length away. Wheel spin has got him, and I don't think that's going to help him. Half a lap to go. Between these two, we saw them come together in their first race together at Croft, in 2013B. That got close. It came out in Tanner's favor. Will this come out in Mertz's favor? Heading down the straightaway for the final chicane. What will Mertz do to try and take this race victory? He runs a little wider line, tries to take the fight. Wheel hop for both of them, and it's going to be Tanner Smith, as I don't believe Mertz can get him. Smith will get his 5th career win in NASA RallyCross, beating out the defending champion, who finishes in the 2nd spot. Hagenstein took to the jump, but he is not taken to the penalty box. We'll have to watch the official results, but he finishes tentatively in 3rd. Livingood finishes in the 4th position. As your results here from Negus, as Tanner Smith burns it down, it's going to be him winning. Mertz is 2nd, Livingood 3rd. 4th is Hagenstein. 5th is Wetz, as Livingood and Hagenstein got flipped. Originally, Hagenstein was placed to 6th, but his team owner, Mertz, countered the protest by saying there's no point in penalizing someone behind 2 cars that did not finish, so Hagenstein thrown to the back of the running cars, finishing 4th. Wetz, Smith, Columbia 7th, his best finish in NASA RallyCross. Cody Erdman 8th, Nicholson 9th, and Casey Lester in 10th. The Drivers' Championship tightens even further as we head to Las Vegas for the first time next week. Mertz 99, Smith 97, Livingood 88, Dylan Smith 83, Chris Wetz 75, Hagenstein 75, Bellamy, who is not here, 47, Nicholson 47, Erdman 28, and Arnold Columbia moves into the top 10 with 28. The Constructors' Championship, 4-point lead over Revolution Racing from MRT, as those two have been battling all season long and all through the past seasons, as Revolution Racing, or Revolution Junior, I should say, with the one car of Living Good 110. Area 52, which isn't even a team anymore, 4th place with 68. Great Lakes Motorsports 59, and Subaru MRT Junior has 21. The Manufacturers Championship, 112 to Subaru, 109 to Mitsubishi, Volkswagen 56, Ford 32. And really quickly, we're going to go through the Privateer Cup, the Nations Cup, and the Tire Cup as we hit the halfway point, or past the halfway point. The top 5 in Privateers, it's Nicholson with 93, Bellamy 83, Sweet 46, Dylan Smith 40, but he is not running the Privateer Cup anymore. Lester 34. The Nations Cup is Germany 115, Norway 97, Canada 88, USA 86, and the Netherlands 74. In the Tires Cup, Bridgestone 112, Hoosier 108, Pirelli 60, Michelin 32, and Yokohama is 5th with 30 points. Like I mentioned, next week we're under the lights at the Coliseum in Las Vegas, and that will be a hell of a race, as what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas unless you're in NASA RallyCross, which means it happens every single week. And that was really cheesy, but I thought it was pretty clever. But anyway, congratulations to Tanner Smith, as we hope to see you next week in Las Vegas, but until then, so long everyone!